Hey, and welcome back to my channel, Nerd It This Way. I'm Mahalia, and I've been gone roughly 2 months. I'm sorry about that.
Mahalia, in this world, you must know who you are.
So, just quick recap of like where I've been for like 2 months and everything like that. So I went to LA, had fun with my mom. I don't really have any blogs or anything like that. It was just, you know, hanging out with my nephew and my mom, having fun and a really great time. I came back to, you know, where I live and started preparing for finals and a wedding. So my best friend got married, which was super great. I was a groomsman, which I'm going to post a picture somewhere, hopefully. And that was so fun. Now, as soon as we landed from this wedding and all its wonders, I had to start finals. So I hit the ground running and I didn't have time for anything. So I thought I had pre-recorded enough videos to kind of buy me some time, but I didn't. And so I wasn't going to like really stress myself over it because I knew I was going to come back and do some readathons. And I tried to do Rachel Marie's readathon, which was so awesome. I loved everyone's videos, but it didn't work out that way because the way my life was set up at that moment, I'm going to have to do it next year, which will be awesome anyway. Now I am going to participate in Newts because it is that season, August. We have made it. And the Disney readathon. I am going to be on Team Mulan's, which is co-hosted, and the team leader is Diva from Celebrity Reads. I'll have her channel and her announcement video down below, or hopefully I can, like, you know, do my tech magic and put it up here in the info box. Hopefully. And so I'm gonna kind of jump right in to my TBR. It's going to be a set TBR because I know for the Disney readathon you have to go in order, and so I'm going to try and combine my TBRs so I'm not reading too many books and stressing out, and I'm also like knocking out the challenges. So I'm also looking down. For the first challenge for Mulan is a powerful female lead, which does coincide with the audiobook for Newts for the healer Newt exams for herbology. I will have I don't know what side I'll be on, but I will be reading The Girl of Paper and Fire. That's going to be exciting. I know a lot of people have already read it and, you know, it has mixed reviews, but I'm pretty excited because I love stuff like that. And so the next prompt for Team Mulan is read a book that features a squad. So I was really torn because I have a few books on my Newts TBR that features a squad, but I decided to go with this ebook that I found, and it's called Never Die by Rob J. Hayes. So Never Die by Rob J. Hayes. And this goes into my Newts exam, a book with the prologue. And when I read the prologue, I was like, you know, looking through Kindle, I'm like, oh, you know, just seeing what was recommended to me. I was like, oh, I can find something with a prologue on it. So I did. The prologue for this is Tommy Cho woke to the screams of her own death. She remembered it all. I was like, if that's not engaging and gripping, I don't know what is. So I decided to put that on my list. So I will be reading that for squads for Mulan and for book with prologue for potions in the new exam. I have to put my book because everything is kind of like organized so I can keep up with it. So the next prompt for Team Mulan is read a book with YA romance, and this is where we go back to the hardcovers, which, if you don't remember, I'm trying to knock out all of my books, and I was on a book buying ban, but that like went out the window. So I have a book haul coming up because I bought books. Kristen White and I Darken. This was out a while ago, but I really liked it for the cover effect, and I know, so I'm reading if you see like things with like the little pink tabs, I'm trying to organize my life. So this is also going to be for my, you know, Team Mulan prompt. And this also goes into my herbology Newt exam for a cover with flowers on it. I honestly don't know what this book is about. I got it for actually like $2, and I was like, oh, this is great. I've heard people like it. I heard people not like it. I'm just going to try it for myself. And so I picked it up. That is the third prompt. The fourth prompt for the Disney Readathon is a book with 500 pages. So this one was like perfect for me. A book with 500 pages. I chose the sequel to Daniel O'Malley's Rook, and this is Stiletto. So, The Rook. I don't have The Rook anymore. I gave it to my bestie Minnie because this was such a good book. Like, I'm gonna buy the first book again because I loved it. And it is following Mafani, and pretty much I don't think this follows the same person. I think this follows a different group of characters, but we're still in the secret organization, and we're still finding out who the bad guys are, and there's a little bit of magical realism in it. So I thought this was going to be a great book for this challenge, and also knock it off my TBR shelf, which is always awesome. Hopefully I'm not talking really fast. So let me know down below if I'm talking a bit too fast for you. I have a tendency to do that. The last prompt is the group book, which I will have it on the sides because I'm also going to do that in Audible since I have the credit. Yay. Technically, you've already paid for the book then. Technically. But I will be reading Circe. I was going to read Spin the Dawn, but Circe has been on my like must read a lot longer than Spin the Dawn. So I decided to go with that instead of Spin the Dawn, which worked out because my team leader is also reading it. So, we can go back and forth and share, our thoughts and opinions on it, which is going to be awesome, by the way. So if you're reading that book for Team Mulan, let me know down below, and maybe we can like buddy read it or something, get through it together. Next is the rest of my Newts exam. Okay, for herbology, I have to read an Audible book. I decided to go with The Girl of Paper and Fire. The next book is read a book 300 to 390 pages. And, I chose to go with another ebook, The Queen Con by Megan Scott Mulan. Megan Scott Mulan. And this is the second book in her series. So this follows MG, who's a comic book creator who ends up being a consultant for the police, the LAPD, which kind of made me feel like Lucifer, which I've been binge watching. I just caught up. Anyways, side note. So there's a murder going around, and it is based off of one of her favorite comics. So she's helping, and they're drag queens. There are just so many like cameos and shout outs to everything 90s, Star Wars, all that good nerdy geeky stuff, I guess, which I love so much. So I will be reading that, and I think it is roughly 370 pages, so I just made it in by 20 pages. So the next one is Charms, and the prompt for the first one under Charms is a pretty cover. So 1,000-Year Scroll. So because there's like this glare. So I don't know if you can see it. I'm gonna hold it very still. So 1,000-Year Scroll by Chris Wilrich. And I got this a while ago, and I started reading it. I stopped reading it. Started reading it, but I don't recall why. I think I bought it for the cover. Like, this cover is gorgeous. The next one under Charms is a manga. So for the manga I chose is Mira Mashita Irukun Iruma Mira Mashita. And it follows this kid who was pretty much sold to this demon lord by his parents because the demon lord wanted a grandson. And so the demon lord is a principal of this academy, and he becomes invited and enrolled into this demon academy with his now demon grandfather. The next one is a paperback, First Grave on the Right by Deronda Jones. This I got because it was like, supposedly it's like a, rom-com fantasy kind of thing. Ignore the, little tag there. I haven't gotten all my tags off my books. It's just kind of a thing with me. About a woman named Charlie Davison, who's a part-time private investigator and a part-time Grim Reaper, and we kind of just follow her, and it's supposedly really funny. Next we go to Defense Against the Dark Arts, Black Under the Dust Jacket. The traitor Baru Coromant, and Black Under the Dust cover. So I don't remember why I bought this. I just kind of buy stuff, I guess. Vaguely. I remember this being like recommended to me a lot, so I bought it. And I was like, oh, I'm going to save it for, that one time I'm really going to need to read a high fantasy, sci-fi as British, or a book with a British character or location in London. So I went with I Ripper by Stephen Hunter. Jack the Ripper vibes on it. Based off of Jack the Ripper murdered 5 prostitutes in London, steamy Whitechapel district. He did not just kill, he desecrated with insane glee. I'm kind of excited to read that. But again, I'm going to read these in the order of the Disney readathon, so I can kind of knock those out the way, because the new exams have longer books. Okay, so when I decided to do this, the Newts exam, when I decided like, oh yes, I'm going to participate, I had already written out the books so I can kind of lock them in and not change my mind, because I tend to do that and like look at my shelf and be like, no, I think this book would fit this prompt a little bit better. I didn't want to do that. So in the next prompt, it's like the first book that comes to mind. When that happened, the first book that came to mind, Outrun the Moon. I've had this for so long, by Stacey Lee. Oh my gosh, like I've been saying like, I'm gonna read this. And this was the first book that popped in my mind, and I have no idea why, but I was like, boom. So Outrun the Moon is the first book that popped in my head when I decided to write these all out based off of books that just popped in my head on my TBR list. The next one is Transfiguration, and we will be reading the first prompt, which is read a book by the LGBTQ+ community. And I will be going back to reading a manga, and I will have it right here. So, it depends on the side, okay? It depends on the side. Although I like trust my memory, I don't trust how I pronounce things all the time. I don't know about you guys, but sometimes I get tongue-tied with the titles of certain manga. This one is called Murcielago, and it is by Yoshimura Kana. And this is a Yuri, which is girl love. Like Yoi is boy love, so girl love, horror, supernatural, and sin. And so it's action packed. It has horror in it, and it's pretty dark from what it just kind of looking through it. I don't have the book itself. I'm reading it online because I'm trying to not buy too many books this year. But I'm going to have the cover right here. So it pretty much is about a special unit in the police task force where they are hiring a serial killer to go hunt other serial killers. So kind of like a Dexter meets Lucifer meets SWAT, I guess, in a way. It's pretty dark, pretty graphic from what I can tell. So I'm pretty excited. It's kind of long too, so I'm really excited about that. It has roughly, how many chapters? So it is on volume 9, so that's exciting. Volume 9, and it's on chapter 1. So I will be reading that for the prompt for Transfiguration, for the LGBT plus prompt. The next one is next book in a series, which we are going back to my Mulan, which is Stiletto, because this is the second book to, I think this is going to be a trilogy. I'm not too sure. Don't quote me on that. But this is the sequel to The Rook. Next on Transfigurations, because, you know, we haven't moved on, is a book with 500 pages. So this was kind of easier because I don't have, that's a lie. So I have quite a few books that are over 500 pages. But I really wanted to kind of challenge myself, and I didn't want to read the Orange Priory Tree book that everybody I think might be reading. I kind of went with an older book that I have on my shelf, and it is Stephen King and Owen King's Sleeping Beauties. This is, I think it's over 500 pages actually, but I will be reading this for the prom. I'm not too sure what it's about. I'm a little nervous, and I don't want to like psych myself out of reading it because Stephen King, I can't read too many of his books. I'm part of the chicken shit squad. I don't like horror too much. I know a lot of these books have little pieces of horror in it, but there's more comedy in the ones I've chosen. So it kind of like, you know, gleams over how bad it is. But Stephen King doesn't gleam or anything. He kind of just takes you in there and shakes you up really bad. So I'm hoping this will be better. I don't know. But it's about women who are kidnapped and cocooned, and one woman wakes up or something and she's not crazy like the rest of them. I'm not sure. But that's the book I've chosen because it's close or over 500 pages. Next is Potions, someone else's favorite book. So I went scouring over YouTube, BookTube, and I was looking at people's favorites that they recommended that I had, and the only one that was like consistent was V.E. Schwab's Vicious. I didn't even know I had this. Like, I was looking, I was like, oh, V.E. Schwab. Like, I have another one of her books that I thought was the first book, but it's not. So I have to go get the first book. So I will be reading Vicious by V.E. Schwab. I'm kind of excited. It's not very long, and it's supposed to be like the book to read. So I'm pretty excited about that. Pretty excited. The next prompt for Potions is Hogwarts house colors. So my house color is green for Slytherin, and so I had to choose a book that was green, but I also had to choose a book that I was actually pretty excited to read. I don't have that many green books. I mean, I'm sure you can point some out, but I will be reading Medusa Upload by Emily Davenport. I picked this up because I love the story of Medusa. I love Greek mythology. That's also why I'm reading Circe. But I just really, really kind of fell for this idea of a science fiction version of the story of Medusa, which I'm assuming is the case. But it pretty much is. Okay, so it says, my name is Ochi Angels, and I am a worm. They see me every day. They consider me harmless, and that's the trick, isn't it? A generation starship can hide many secrets. When an executive clan suspects Ochi, I'm gonna go with Ochi of insurgency and discreetly shoves her out of an airlock, one of those secrets finds and rescues her. Officially dead, Ochi begins to rebalance power one assassination at a time and uncover the shocking truth behind the generation starship and the executive clan. This has some like kind of Japanese feel to it. I'm not too sure. I don't know. Maybe it's the whole clan thing in the name. But I'm pretty excited about that. That concludes my TBR, my locked in TBR for the Disney readathon as well as the Newts readathon, which, I didn't even say who it was by. I just assumed you knew. It is by G from Book Roast. I will have her announcement linked down below, as well as the previous announcements from the OWLs that I'm not sure if you have to do those or you want. I'm pretty sure you don't have to do any of it. But it's really fun. I recommend doing it. Kind of helps you knock out the books on your TBR that you really kind of want to read, but you don't have like the drive to do. So that's it from me. If you have read any of these books, if you're on Team Mulan, if you're on another team, please let me know down below and we can share ideas and opinions and maybe buddy read to kind of motivate one another. So if you like my content and if you missed me, like, share, comment, and I will see you guys next time. I promise there'll be a next time because I'm getting back on a schedule now that I'm on break from school, and hopefully everything works out the way I want it to. Fingers crossed.